Hey up everyone, Magpie Gaming here. I hope you're all doing well. In this video I'm going to show you how I make money in Escape from Tarkov. Now I'm not going to say that this is a guide and you should follow what I do to make money. By all means you can if you want to, but there's probably better ways to make quicker money in the game, but this is just how I make my money. It's what I do, what I'm comfortable with, the map I use that I'm comfortable with, etc. So there are two main ways to make money in Escape from Tarkov. If you're new to the game and you're probably wondering how the hell do these people have all these millions, well, I'll show you a little bit of how to do that. It does take some grinding, it does take a little bit of effort, but once you're there you can make quite a pretty sum of money in this game. So there are two ways to do it. There's passively and actively. So we're going to concentrate on actively to begin with. So actively is going into raids as your PMC or your scav, taking loot off of bodies or killing scavs, killing PMCs, taking the loot, looting the various different places that you can loot. You've got the safes, the crates, jackets, the ground caches, you know, all the places that you can loot, taking all of that good swag out of the game and either selling it to a vendor or on the flea market to make you money. That's the generally perceived right way to do it, I suppose. You're just taking stuff out of the raid. The more that you can get out with, the better. The second way, which is passively, this is using the hideout and the flea market. So you can create various things in the hideout and then sell them on the flea market, or you can sell them to a vendor. Whichever one's going to give you the biggest profit at the end of the day is the one that I would recommend going with. So passively, obviously the main one is the bitcoins. Once you've got the bitcoin farm up and running, you can create those. You just need to put fuel in your generators and you can sit back and it will make you money even though you're not playing the game, which is great. That's good to come back to the game and have a bitcoin waiting or a couple waiting for you. You've obviously got the super water that you can make in the water generator. You've got the booze generator as well that you can make your moonshine in. The super water sells for over 100 grand a pop. Moonshine will go for 250, maybe 300 grand depending on how the market's going at the time of you trying to sell it. You've obviously got the lavatory, you've got the intelligence center, the workbench, the med station, all of which you can make things on that you can then sell on the flea market, usually for a profit as well. So it's good to have those things up and running and you can just sit back and allow it to make you money. And like I say, you don't even have to be playing the game, just need to make sure that the things are up and cooking on the various parts of the hideout. Make sure there's fuel in your generator and you can sit back and reap the reward. And recently, as of filming this, I think a couple of days ago, around the 25th of March, Bitcoin prices hit nearly 800,000 rubles in the game. It has now come back down and leveled off sort of to the mid 650,000 sort of area, but that's still a massive amount of money to make from actually having to do nothing but put fuel into the hideout. Now of course you've got to have the Bitcoin farm up and running, which does take a little bit of time to get it going. So I would recommend that, obviously you can't do it this time because we've already had a wipe, but next time it wipes, if you're looking to make money as quick as possible, grind away and get that Bitcoin farm up and running as soon as you can. And then like I say, just put fuel in, sit back and make the money. Now actively is another way to make money. Obviously in this game you will have all the good YouTubers and the Twitch streamers out there such as Pestilli and that, which show some really good guides on how to make quick money on certain maps. Pestilli did one recently where he did an interchange run and he made so many million just on that one run. Now I tend to avoid doing things like that because it really does put you in the firing line of other PMCs and obviously scavs and that. I tend to go a little bit more low key, but I still make quite a bit of decent money. So I recently did a little test and I wondered how many raids I'd be able to do, you know, collectively raid time up to an hour, and how much I would make in that hour of raid time. So I decided to go in as my scav. I did 59 minutes in total as in raid as my scav, and I managed to make 1.3 million in those 59 minutes. Now that was selling everything to the vendors. I didn't put anything that I got out of those raids onto the flea market. I sold everything to the vendors. So had I put some of the items that I got onto the flea market, I probably could have pushed that up to maybe 2 million within that 1 hour. But to give us a good baseline, I just sold everything to the vendors, and yeah, 1.3 million I managed to walk out with. Now the last raid that I did for this 1 hour in total was a little bit of a fluke. I managed to get into the dorms and somebody had killed Rashala and his minions, but really not looted much off them. They'd left all of the guns, all of the ammo, so I managed to make quite a bit in that. Nearly 400,000 I made out of getting out of that raid. I got a little bit spooked as I was searching, so I didn't get everything out and I didn't cram every single like sell on my body with loot. So yeah, I could have probably eked out a little bit more than that. But what I tend to do is when I go in as my scav, I always use the customs map. I always use customs. I know people will say, oh, interchange you'll make more, or going on to reserve. I'm sure you can. But like I say, it's going with what you're comfortable with. And for me, customs is comfortable. I know every single scav extract. I know every spawn. I know every nook and cranny of this map and where the places are to loot. So I will go in as my scav. Since they've recently changed the AI scav spawn rates on there, you get a lot lower in raid time on this map now. Before you could maybe scav in and have 40 or so minutes, maybe a full raid to go out as a scav. Now it's typically 20 minutes or less. So once you're in, I look at the extracts and I work out which extracts I'm going to go to from the position that I spawn in, and I basically just make a beeline for that extract. But I will hit up every single loot point that I can think of on the way. So for instance, if I spawn and Dorms happens to be in the way of me extracting, say I've got the old road gate extract, then of course I will check out Dorms. And I tend to go to Dorms more often than not, even though I might not have an extract near there. The reason that I do that is because 9 times out of 10 you will find dead scavs, dead PMCs. They might not have been fully looted, so it's a good place to go and get into and try and get some stuff out of. But yeah, that's pretty much how I do it, and then I will just make my way to extract. As I say, I check all the ground caches, check all the jackets, check any dead scavs, just everything that you can think of, and make sure that you can get to your extracts pretty safely. I tend to avoid anywhere that I think there might be firefights. If I hear them, I won't go near those. I want to just get out with the minimal amount of fuss. The other thing that I do is I make sure that every cell on my body is full of loot. Even if it's something that doesn't seem like it'd be worth too much, like a box of matches. Okay, they're not worth that much, but a couple of grand in your pocket is better in your pocket than not. So if you ever leave a raid and you have an empty cell, you've lost money. You've basically given up free money. You know, the game, every ground stash, for instance, that you go in will have something that you think, nah, I don't want that, it's worthless. But put it in your pocket anyway. And then when you come to the next one, you might find something that you think, yeah, that's going to be worth more. So drop the least inexpensive item and replace it with something that you believe will be more expensive, or something that indeed you want to use on your PMC or for crafting in the hideout. Make sure you take that and just drop the least inexpensive or least needed item. Always make sure you leave with every cell crammed with loot, because every little helps, like Tesco say. I know that the American friends won't understand what Tesco is, but that's a big supermarket here, and they have a saying that's there, every little helps. So yeah, everything that you can get out of a raid that you can make a little bit of money on, it all helps. And that's pretty much how I'm making money in Escape from Tarkov. I will admit, in the past I used to be an absolute rat at this game. I used to hatchet run like mad all of the time, but when they made the founding raid changes and the tagged and cursed for the hatchets, I kind of give it up. And I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to. I thought, how the hell am I going to survive in this game without ratting all the time? But I'm doing okay. And I haven't done a hatchet for, it's got to be over a year now since I last did a hatchet run. So, and I don't even do lightly geared runs if I go in as a PMC. I always make sure that I've got an AK, I've got BP ammo, I've got a fairly decent helmet and armor, and a pretty decent size backpack. But yeah, that's how I'm making money. Let me know in the comment section down below how you guys are making money. You know, do you follow like Pestilli's loot run on Interchange where he's making a couple of mil every raid? Or do you have your own way of going around to the game and making money? Let me know in the comment section. As always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Stay safe, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.